Kaspar mouthpieces really are inconsistent, like many great mouthpieces. Um, but I really feel that Frank L. of Ann Arbor gets a bad rap. This first mouthpiece was owned by Robert Marcellus, and it is without question the best Kaspar I've ever played. It is a Shedville blank. Um, uh, Very good Shedville blank, very resonant. Um, I believe that is original facing. I'm sure that Marcellus worked with both Kaspars extensively, especially the Cicero Kaspar. But I want you to look at that throat shape. You see at the very bottom, there's that little work, and the throat is a little, almost a very, very, very slight parenthesis. Um, the uh, the baffle is really something special. And I'm telling you, this is the best Kaspar I've ever played. And it's not even close. I mean, all of these are good, but that one's great. So, this says Frank L. Kaspar. Unfortunately, that bottom of the stamp is not, but this is actually a Chicago. I've received word from many people that this is a Chicago, a very early Chicago blank. Before it was stamped here, and it said Frank Kaspar Co. when they were both working. And I want you to look at that interior, and it is very similar. Look at the bottom. And it's got that, again, maybe even a little more square, a little more parenthesis. Oh, the baffle's very different, though. And still very nice, but this is a little more scooped out. And the whole idea of Kaspars is, oh, they play darker. But this one is actually a very powerful mouthpiece. Mr. Marcellus played many Kaspars throughout his career. This is another really good Ann Arbor. This is a fatter shed blank, 2 lines. Also a really good mouthpiece. Different throat shape. You still see a little bit of bowing, and you still see at the bottom there where there's some work done there. That baffle is more typical of what I see of Frank L. There's more scooping in. It's not quite as direct. That's very good. Both of these are very similar, even though this is a Chicago, early Frank L. Chicago. This is a Ann Arbor. This was refaced by Everett Matson, but it is a Babbitt Frank L. Ann Arbor. And once again, look at that bottom. That's Frank L. for sure. Now, it's rougher on this Babbitt. You see still a little bit of bowing on the sides, but a lot less. That baffle is more powerful like that first one, and I think that's a Matson hallmark. That's why I think that first one, the baffle, may have been touched up by Matson. And the last one is the other Kaspar, the one that everybody likes, Cicero, but these just don't work as well for me. They don't sing as much for me. A lot less bowing, far more symmetrical sidewalls. There's work at the bottom, but it seems a little more careful in how it was done. More like a Shedville. And very different type of baffle. It's kind of in between the really direct Ann Arbors and the really scooped out ones. This mouthpiece is definitely the darkest of the bunch, but it is my least favorite. The intonation is great. Sometimes people say the Ann Arbor articulation intonation can be a little bit high because the exit boards are a little small. And sometimes, like in this Babbitt, it's just way sharp, which is a shame because that's such a good mouthpiece with that Babbitt. But That first one is just a comfortable level of sharp, and certainly with a slightly longer barrel, um, you can find it. Um, I just don't understand why Ciceros fetch so much more than a good shed blank in arbor, because a lot of Ciceros were Babbitt blanks too. So if you know the blank, if you do a little bit of research in the blank, a little bit of research in the exit bore, throat shape, baffle, and whether or not it's the original facing, I think you might be able to find yourself a really great singing Ann Arbor. And if you need it a little darker, if you need a little wider sound, then you can look into Chicago's. But for most people, I think in most ensembles today, orchestras or otherwise, pits, solo work, I really think a good Ann Arbor, possibly with working with a great refacer like Lee Livingood or Brad Bain, can yield a fantastic mouthpiece. If possible, always try before you buy, but I'm telling you, the best mouthpiece I've ever played is that Ann Arbor. And I've had a few other Ann Arbors with that type of blank, and all of them have been good. That one's special, but that blank, the wider 3-line, skinnier Chevelle blank, I think that is the one to get. Just realize the facing might not be right for you, but the potential is there.